So with a lot of these videos, you can see that we're starting off with this cat-cow movement. So I'm pressing up and rounding through my back, and then slowly reversing that movement, opening up through my middle back, pressing up again into what we call cat pose, rounding back down into cow pose. Shoulders are open, lower abdominals drawn in. And the reason that we're doing this to start off with is that the spine kind of is the gatekeeper for the arms and the legs. So if you're having any sort of knee pain, being able to loosen up the back is very important. So keep going here. We got about 5 more up and down. And what we need is good isolation of the trunk versus the hips. So the ability to just distinguish when the hips are working versus when the core, the trunk, the spine, when those are moving. So 2 more here. And 1 more. Up and down. All right, assuming your knees are okay, we're just gonna do some hip to heel rocks. So you're in a tabletop position. Your hands are underneath your shoulders, your knees are underneath your hips, and you're gonna rock straight back, keeping your spine long. Think about loading back into your glutes, and then press forward. We are gonna do about 10 of these. So press all the way back. My lower abdominals are drawn in, my hips are widening at this point, and then press forward. Back again, opening up the hip joints, and back up. This is really important for those people who, let's say you're a runner and you have tight or stiff hips. By moving the hips, giving yourself more motion through there, appropriately loading through the back of the hip joints by sinking back into the movement, will really help take stress off of the knees. And that's a mechanical way of looking at the knee and how the function of the knee works. But by loosening up the hips, it really will allow you to use those muscles better to take stress off the knees. So from there, I'm going to have you pop into a half kneeling position, and we're going to be doing a hip opener. So actually let's start with your left knee popped up into half kneeling, and so you can really see this on the right side. It's going to be working on the front right hip opener. So draw in your abdominal muscles, tuck your hip under, and then already I feel a stretch across the front of my quad, across my hip flexor, and then there, as if I'm shifting forward, we're going to be opening up the front of the hip here. Feel an even bigger stretch. Don't lose that angle, and then back off. So these are all mobility exercises, meaning that we're going through movement, kind of a stretch through movement. Yes, you'll feel it in the muscle, but we're also targeting the hip joint. We got 5 more on this side, and back off. For the last 4, use your glute to help press you there. So you're tucking under, squeeze the glute muscle, and then sink back. Now we're getting that hip working, that glute working in extension. 3 more. 2 more. Use that glute to press you forward, drawing your lower abdominals. Last one. And switch sides. Again, before we start this, the right knee's up. You're going to tuck the left side of the pelvis by drawing in your abdominals, giving yourself a little bit of glute activation. And then you're shifting forward. If you're watching the video right now, you'll see a lot of people who kind of arch their back, and that's okay. You're just going to be taken away from the hip joint stretch. So make sure you're drawing in for the hips and the kind of a quad opener here. It's most important to stay tucked in and to stay long because it is more specific of a movement. With each one, you're holding just 1 to 2 seconds. I say pause at that spot of resistance and then back off. 4 more here. Squeeze the glute every time now. Press that hip forward by activating the glute muscle. 3 more. Squeeze the glute. 2 more. Final one.